come, Ray. The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball.
Little roller up along first. Behind the bag. It gets through Buckner. Here comes Knight, and the Mets win. Now the 2-1. Line drive to Minnesota. Justice has scored the tying run. Green to the plate. And he is safe. Safe at the plate. The Braves go to the World Series.
Have reserved seats somewhere along one of the baselines. They sat when they were children and cheered their heroes.
Gibson swings and a fly ball to deep right field. This is going to be a home run. Unbelievable!
A three-run home run for Bucky Dent. The Yankees now lead it by a score of 3-2.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mazeroski has hit a 1-0 pitch over the left field fence at Ford Field to win the 1960 World Series.
They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children, longing for the past.
The Pope arrived at Yankee Stadium. As one enthusiastic announcer put it, he is standing on second base.
Reggie Jackson. Long drive right field. It is goodbye. Big World Series for Reggie Jackson.
The Blue Jays are World Series champions as Joe Carter hits a three-run home run.
Back a throw. There's a left back. It's going to be, I believe, the Giants from the paddock. The Giants from the paddock. The Giants from the paddock.
The 0-1 pitch. A liner off Nagy's glove into center field. The Florida Marlins have won the World Series.
The memories will be so thick that I have to brush them from their faces.
The 1-0 delivery to Fisk. He swings long drive left field. If it stays fair, it's gone. Home run. The Red Sox win. And the series is...
Lolich fires. Ball is hit high in the air. This should be the series. Freehand waving everybody away in foul territory. Detroit wins. Here's the pitch to Willie. Here's a liner straight to Richardson. The ball game is over and the World Series is over. Willie McCovey hit it like a bullet. A line drive right.
Baseball to mark the time.
The Oakland A's take.
I'll tell you what, we're having an earth.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Candlestick Park for Game 3 of the 1989 World Series.
It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again.
Frank Robinson, the right-hand batter.
Long drive to left field. Way back. This is goodbye. Home run.
Base hit loaded, one out. Pena in a jam. The Twins are going to win the World Series. The Twins have won it.
Ozzie with one out. Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run. And the
What he made just brought this crowd to its feet with a catch which must have been an optical illusion to a lot of
This field, this game, is a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good, and it could be again.
Broadcasted live.
Hey! Who wants to have some fun?
There are balls coming from all over the place. Left field, center field, right field. See, this is the kind of thing, quite honestly, right now, that makes you want to see the Chicago Cubs team lose.
Now, are you just saying you want to have fun, or do you really want to have fun?
It'll be fun.
Will the next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, or get them out of here? You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
That is the farthest thing in the universe from the truth.
Hello, everyone, live. It's the Dan Scott Show. And right there is your host, Dan Scott.
Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of the program. I am Dan Scott. The rain has moved out of the area. The sun is shining. The skies are bright and blue. It is going to be a great day, a great weekend weather-wise, inside and outside, and a lot of action going to be going on around Furman and every other school in the Southern Conference and other conferences around the country ahead of the big conference tournaments next weekend. Man, it's a great time of year. How are you? Hope that your day is off to a good start. We've reached the end of the week. For many of you, it means rest and relaxation. For someone in my business, it means a weekend of work, long hours, but man, hopefully a lot of fun. Baseball today, baseball and basketball tomorrow. Most likely, we hope, baseball and basketball Sunday, and hoping for a late night of basketball on Monday as well. And by the way, speaking of basketball, we are in the month of March. It's called March Madness for a reason. And if what we saw last night out of the University of Virginia is any kind of indicator as to what the conference tournaments and then the NCAA tournament are going to bring us, have mercy. Get your pacemakers double checked, because we could be in for a wild one. Did you see the end of that game? Virginia scored 5 points in less than a second to come from 4 down and win a game. I mean, it's ridiculous. And here is the final shot, inbounding with 0.9 seconds to go. Check this out. As it'll refresh and you'll get a chance to see it here. There's the shot. Banked in the 3 to win it. And that came after they got fouled with 0.9 seconds, shooting a three-pointer. There was 2 of the free throws were made. There was a lane violation. Then there was a turnover by Louisville on the inbound, because the inbounder ran the baseline when he wasn't supposed to. And that's what set up that shot, the Louisville comeback, or the Virginia comeback. Check this out again. They did all of that in 0.9 seconds, including banking in that 3. Folks, if that is the way that this March is going to go, have mercy. How about that? That was amazing. 5 points in 0.9 seconds. You know, you think you know what's going to happen. You think you've seen it all, and that's the great thing about sports. I mean, college basketball right now is under a tremendous amount of scrutiny for all of the wrong reasons. All of the wrong reasons. And yet, at its absolute best, in its purest form, we know what college athletics and athletics in general really means, what the life lessons it can teach in a positive way. And then the sheer theater of competition that we see from high-level athletes going back and forth like you get in a game like Louisville and Virginia last night. And then to have something as unbelievable as that happen, it just ramps up your appreciation for sports that much more. And it's a shame that quality of what we do and what we love and what we appreciate is being overshadowed in many ways by all of the stuff that's going on off the court with the FBI investigation and everything else. I don't know how many of you watched the live stream of Sean Miller's press conference yesterday out at Arizona. I did. Watched it start to finish, and basically it was very short. He came out, he read a statement crafted by the lawyers and took no questions, went back and resumed his coaching duties. And, you know, I thought, like a lot of people did, that he was going to come out and use the old, I don't want to be a distraction and I'm going to step down. Instead, he did anything but that. Yeah, he apologized for the distraction, but he was vehement, almost militant in his denial that he did anything wrong, basically challenged ESPN and their report that started this whole mess, which, by the way, now they have corrected not once, not twice, but 3 different times. And 2 of those, at least, have been about the timeline. And this last one, after stories came out that questioned and said basically the timeline that they put forward was impossible because the wiretapping by the FBI didn't begin until much after that. Well, they then, again, yesterday, I believe it was, for the 3rd time, corrected the story. For the 2nd time, changed the timeline back to one that meets the wiretap time. So it's really a strange situation. And Sean Miller yesterday was vehement and, as I said, almost militant in his denial and his challenge of the story, saying that it was 100% wrong. So he's back coaching. He coached last night, walked onto the court to a standing ovation from the Arizona people. And, of course, Arizona goes out and wins a game. Now, you know, I know that there are other aspects of this thing. You know, one of his assistants, I believe, was one of the coaches that was indicted by the FBI. So, you know, there's that specter hanging over the program. But from Miller's standpoint, he denies any wrongdoing. And to come out and do it so forcefully yesterday, and this is after like 2 days of meetings between the school and their lawyers and Miller and his lawyers. And that's the statement that they came out with. You need to go watch that, and maybe we can find it and put it up if we have some time later on. But it was pretty astounding, and it built kind of to a crescendo. You kept thinking, okay, when's he going to say, but I'm stepping down? And he never did. He absolutely never did. In any event, just thoughts that are all kind of running through my head now as we enter March and know what a beautiful month this could be for college basketball and is for college basketball, with all of the mess hanging around and hanging, not around, but hanging over college basketball right now. I just wanted to take a moment to appreciate the sport and the competition and the reason we love it by showing you that clip of the end of the Virginia-Louisville game. It was astounding. All right, coming up on the show today, we will preview the Southern Conference basketball tournament. The women, unfortunately, dropped a 1-point decision to Samford last night, so Furman's women's season is over. Jackie Carson did a heck of a job with a roster that was probably 65 to 70% new, a bunch of newcomers, finished 17-13, and they have a very, very bright future moving forward. The men open play tomorrow night at 8:30. We'll show you the entire schedule beginning with what transpires today. Baseball is home this weekend, beginning this afternoon at 4 o'clock with 3 games with Central Connecticut State. 18 games for Brett Harker's team in the month of March. 14 of them are home games if you include the 2 that are at Fluor Field against Michigan State and Illinois. So you got plenty of opportunities to come out and watch some good baseball and watch this team continue to get better and improve as the year goes on. And then I'm excited about this coming up right here in this chair right beside me, which you can't see because I've still got that on the screen. But right here will be the brand new strength coach here at Furman, Andre Bernardi, at 10:25 in just about 15 minutes from now. So we got a lot to get to, and we'll have an hour packed with good stuff for you today, we believe. Before we do anything else, just a reminder, as always, about the Atlanta Bread Company, located in Cherrydale Plaza, right down the road from campus. They have really stepped forward to help support this show, help get it off the ground, and we are so appreciative for what they've done for us. Looking forward to continuing that relationship. And, oh, by the way, the food is fantastic. The people are even better. There's really no reason for you not to go see these folks. And when you do, please, please, please take a moment and thank them for what they do for this program and tell them that you heard about them here on the show. That's the Atlanta Bread Company in Cherrydale Plaza, right down the road here from campus. All right, when we come back, let's talk to SoCon basketball, talk a little baseball, and then Andre Bernardi coming up at 10:25. This is the Dan Scott Show, and we'll return right after this. Don't go away.
The madness begins here. Make sure you're at the U.S. Cellular Center in Asheville, North Carolina, March 1st through 5th for the 2018 SoCon Basketball Championships presented by General Shale. Watch your favorite SoCon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament, and take part in exciting events like the Downtown Dribble and the Ingles Jam Fest. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SoConHoops.com or by contacting the U.S. Cellular Center box office. The madness begins in Asheville. Get your tickets today.
The Atlanta Bread Company wants to make your dining experience as convenient as possible, especially if you're ordering takeout. Go online to atlantabreadcompany.com, place your order there, and pay for it too. Then, when you get to the restaurant at Cherrydale Point, you breeze right by the cash registers and go straight to the pickup counter where your food will be waiting. And speaking of food, try the new Shrimp Po' Boy, a delicious and surprisingly healthy addition to the already great menu. That's the Atlanta Bread Company, Cherrydale Point in Greenville. When the Furman baseball team goes on the road, it travels safely, comfortably, and with the latest technology with Jeans Tours and Charters. Jeans has been a Furman favorite for decades and has serviced Furman baseball for over 20 years. Take it from head coach Brett Harker. Book your next road trip with Jeans. Jeans Tours and Charters, online at jeansbussvc.com or call 864-242-1673. Jeans Tours and Charters, servicing the upstate since 1980.
If you've been sidelined by an injury, the St. Francis Sports Medicine team is here 24/7 to get you back on the field. Our highly trained network of physicians, athletic trainers, and physical therapists treat all types of sports-related injuries, even those that don't occur from playing a sport. Call the St. Francis Hurt Line at 675-HU-RT for priority appointments or at-home advice. Again, that's 675-HU-RT.
It's 12 minutes past the hour as we welcome you back to this edition of the Dan Scott Show here on a Friday. Beautiful, beautiful day in the upstate of South Carolina. Before we get rolling here, just a quick word about Hall's Chop House, downtown Greenville, the Greenville Steakhouse. Billy Hall and his people there do such a fantastic job. The thing that amazes me, I've been telling you about here in the last couple of weeks, is that the place is packed every night, and I don't know exactly what the capacity is. We're talking probably 175 to 200 people can be in there at any one time, and maybe I'm off some, but you kind of get the idea. It is just jam-packed, and yet they have the unique ability of making you feel like you're the most important person in the facility. And you know, you put that kind of service together with the incredible food, which is, of course, highlighted by the Allen Brothers Prime Steaks out of Chicago, and you understand why in less than 2 years here they have become so popular. Of course, they've got the original Hall's location down in Charleston with a number of other properties down there, and now Hall's Chop House indeed is the Greenville Steakhouse in downtown Greenville. So go see them and tell them that you heard about them here on the show. Well, the guy sitting next to me was supposed to be here at 10:25. He comes in about 10, 15 minutes early and said to me when he walked in the door, hey, I'm trying to get the guys to be accountable. I have to be accountable too. I like that. Doesn't have to be accountable to me necessarily, but probably Mike Buddy would be the guy you'd want to be accountable to. This is Andre Bernardi. He is the new strength and conditioning coach here at Furman University. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you.
Thank you for coming up and talking to us, especially on such short notice. I was over there yesterday, and it's good that the schedule just kind of worked out like this. How is the acclimation going to becoming a Paladin after being a Crusader?
It's going great. You know, just trying to teach the kids how I do things, my staff, how we're going to do things. That way, big thing is trying to have one weight room culture, one way of doing things, and being on the same page with our athletes as well as my coaches.
I would imagine the most difficult part of your job right now is just getting to know names.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
I mean, football coaches, at least, you can say, hey, 27, hey, 72.
Yes, sir.
Like that. You can't do that,
A lot of names, and that's going to be a struggle for me. We've had a lot of smaller groups, and that's kind of been good for me because I'm getting to know names and getting to know the kids. So that'll come, but that has definitely been a process.
You know, a lot of times early in football camps, they'll put the athletic tape with the
Yes,
name. Would you do that on somebody's forehead?
We may have to do that.
If you could describe your philosophy in how you go about your business, how would you do it?
I'm a big up-tempo guy. You know, I want guys to be great at little things. I want them to move fast. I want them to be able to move well, do different things on command. You know, I do a ton of Olympic lifting. You know, for a strength coach, it's all pushing and pulling, but it's about how we go about doing it. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how the guys are adjusting to how I do things. They're learning that we're supposed to have a good time and getting better. And that's kind of what I want to bring to the table here for our athletes. Yeah, it's fun. We're trying to have a good time, but we're trying to be better at doing things the right way.
You also have to do things the way that particular coaches, especially football,
yes, sir,
wants done. And Clay Hendricks wants his linemen to look a certain way.
Yes, sir.
And so just talk about integrating your style with what the coaches want.
Well, you know, the coaches are my boss, and they have a certain way they want things done, and we are definitely on the same page. There's some areas, certain guys need to get bigger, certain guys need to get stronger. We need to get more mobile, but, you know, Coach Hendrick's been great. He's kind of, you know, hey, you know, take it and run with it. You know, when we went along with our interview process and all that, I kind of gave him an idea of what I wanted to do. And, you know, we really meshed well on how we wanted things done. And, you know, the coaches, they're a big part of the success they had. They are the success they had this last year. The guys bought in. I just want to add another piece of the puzzle that's hopefully going to make our guys even better to where we're getting better at little things and we go to that SoCon championship and win it, or go to that next playoff game and win it. You know, and that I'm going to take pride in the next couple weeks in really getting our guys prepared for the demands of a football game.
You were the first ever full-time program-wide strength and conditioning coach at North Greenville.
Yes, sir.
From what, 2011 forward?
Yes, sir.
So you got a chance to kind of mold a program
yes,
there.
Sir.
What did you learn during that time?
Well, you know, I learned to do things with less. You My first weight room was upstairs. I had 9 bars, 9 racks, and a couple dumbbells. So it made me a better strength coach, and learning how I want things done. I was able to establish a culture of how we're supposed to do things in a weight room for an athletic department. It's made me a much better strength coach. I also, 3 years later, I was able to build my own facility exactly how I wanted it. And North Greenville was a great experience. It was great to me. I was ready for a new challenge and the next step in my career, and this opportunity came open, and I was, pumped about it and got the opportunity to take over this program.
And people should know that you played at North Greenville from 06 to 09. All-American honors 3 times, school record 42 sacks, and Division II record 78 tackles for loss. So you've got the kids, I think, do they still call it street cred?
I guess so.
Yeah,
Yes,
you bring a little street cred to you as well,
yes,
right?
Sir. Yes, sir. Well, I played for Coach Staggs, the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
And when I heard about this opportunity, I also worked with Coach Bratton before I got here. And, Coach Staggs and Coach Tadwell came in and kind of set an expectation, and that really helped mold my philosophy on how I wanted things. And I knew when I came here, these kids were going to be well coached, well prepared kids, and I was excited about seeing the opportunity. But I had a good playing career, and I coach the same way. I would say if when I was a player, probably the best thing about me was my motor. And I want to say, as a coach, I feel like I've got a motor. I'm excited to be here, and I'm excited to make guys better.
You also have worked a little bit in the private sector at D1 Sports here in Greenville from 2011 to 2013. How does the private sector experience factor into what you're doing now, or does it at all?
It does. That's more individual training. I'm more of a strength coach. I'm better working with a group. And I really think the guys have done a great job in buying into how I want things done. But, D1 was a good experience. And, I did that part-time early in my career. My wife worked there as well. So it was a good experience working the private sector. It just wasn't necessarily for me.
Incidentally, this guy, when he left North Greenville to come here at Furman, they named a new strength coach at North Greenville University who also happens to have the last name Bernardi, right?
Yes, sir. My wife got hired on as director of strength conditioning at North Greenville, and, man, she's just a great strength coach. What she's done for that program is unbelievable. She's one of few female strength coaches that I know of, period. And she does a great job. She's actually in Mississippi today speaking at a conference, and she's just a great coach. So she's going to do big things over there.
Now, I got to ask you this question because for a year, my wife and I owned a restaurant together and ultimately sold it because we decided that if we didn't, we were going to kill each other.
Yes.
What was it like working with your wife?
We really loved it. It was a great experience. I tell people I just stayed out of her way, but
smart man.
But we were on the same page, and she kind of took the female athletes and did her thing. And when she had a team in there, I would try to assist her, and she did a lot to help me with football on different spreadsheet and organization and stuff like that. So we really kind of shadowed each other's weaknesses and made each other better in areas we needed to get better.
I know it's only been a couple of weeks that you've been here, but do you find yourself going home now, coming together and comparing notes?
Oh yeah, we're strength coaches, so when we go home, we talk about our day, but we're talking about movement, we're talking about what kids did, we're talking about what kids got PRs, we're talking about the differences in our athletes. So, good coaches are always competitors. So we kind of talk about, well, I had an athlete do this. So, but it's cool to really, you go to these conferences and talk shop with different coaches, and man, I get to go home and talk shop and with my wife and, learn from her, and she learns from me, and it's really been great for us.
This is Andre Bernardi. He is the new strength coach here at Furman University. What was it about this position that was so appealing to you?
Well, I'm obviously I was brought here to be the director and be involved in every sport. But knowing what Furman has done in the past, from a football standpoint, and really all sports are very, very successful program. With Coach Staggs and Coach Bratton and some guys that I already knew, I knew they've established a winning culture, and I knew that I wanted to be around coaches that had the same goals as me. I was ready to take the next step. This is my first time working with Division I athletes, and I'm pumped, and I'm just honestly just hungry to get kids better.
Was there any part of you that was hesitant to leave something that you had built from the ground up?
Well, there was hesitation, and that was just me kind of, had the attachment of being in North Greenville and all that. But I'm ready for the next step, and I knew that. And my wife was a big part of helping me make the decision. Being, working with your wife every day, seeing her all day long is great. Working at your alma mater was great. But, like I said, I was ready for a challenge, and, I know what the success that this program has had in every sport, and I was hungry to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think there's also something to the old phrase, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe the separation during the day will make things a little sweeter. We won't go down that road, though.
Yes,
as
sir.
we continue with the new strength and conditioning coach, Andre Bernardi here. Tell me about the interview process.
Well, I one day at North Greenville, I just heard, one of the other coaches heard, like Coach Ab, who has been a mentor for me and my wife, a big part of our success as strength coaches. Somebody said he was leaving, and I was like, well, I haven't heard nothing. And then later that day, I get about 4 phone calls. Hey, Coach Bratton calls me, Coach Staggs calls me. Coach Av calls me. So I'm like, well, what's going on? So, the opportunity came open.
So you had people from in here inside the university calling you and saying, come apply for this job.
Asking if I had interest in the job. And then about 2 days later, Coach Hendricks called me. He obviously called Coach Farrington and contacted him, made sure it was okay to contact me and stuff like that. They did it. Miss Elaine did it the right way and contacted my athletic director and all that. And, I said, I'm absolutely interested. And they brought me in, and, I just told them what I was about. Just, they asked me questions, nothing too complicated. Just, what's kind of your philosophy? We've had a couple injuries in this area. How would you go about trying to fix that in your weight room? If there's injured guys, what are they going to be training? Stuff like that. Nutrition questions. But I felt like I meshed with the group that was in there, and we were on the same page. I really felt that after the interview. And then Miss Elaine called me and offered me the position. And I said, I didn't say right away I accepted, but I wanted to talk to my wife, and then called her the next day and accepted the position.
We are speaking with Andre Bernardi, the new strength and conditioning coach here at Furman University, a couple of weeks on the job. And I guess it's this way in any weight room. I know it was when Abernathy was here. And David and I are great friends. We used to go to church together years and years ago, so I've known him for a long, long time. But his weight room at least has one thing in common. You walk into the building, and from down the hallway, you can hear the music blaring.
Right.
You're talking
Yes,
about high energy and
sir.
doing that stuff. If you're not one who likes loud music, stay away from the weight room here at Furman University, and probably any weight room at any college across the country, I'd say.
I got to correct you on one thing. We don't walk in the weight room, so that's one thing. That's one of
I walk in the weight room.
So, but we have a good time, and I believe that as long as kids are doing what you want, they should have fun when they come to the weight room. But there is a goal that we try to have when we're in there, and something that a long-term goal, something we're trying to accomplish. Being in there.
So because to say we want high energy, we want all this stuff is good, but energy can be used in the wrong way.
Correct. I think anything that distracts you from what we're trying to do, you shouldn't be doing. it seems like our athletes here are very, very disciplined, and they listen to music and have a good time, but they know how to train too. And hopefully I could, keep that going and put a couple things in that I do differently, and kind of make it my own. But the athletes have been great so far.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. It's like any new coach coming on to a program. Clay Hendricks had to do it. Bob Ritchie, even though he was assistant here, when you're the head coach, it's a different thing.
Yes,
The kids are going to look at you with kind of a raised eyebrow
Yes,
when you
sir,
walk
for
through
sure.
the door, and you have got to earn their respect just like
Absolutely.
they have to earn your
Absolutely.
respect, right?
Absolutely. And the kids, they're learning that I do demand. There's a certain expectation that I have. But the first week they were a little bit in shock just by how I do things, how up tempo it is. But they know they're starting to see that I do care about them. And honestly, my first day, I said, you know what, guys, if you hate me in here, that's okay. You can like me on game day when we're winning games.
Yeah.
And that's kind of I don't want y'all to ever actually hate, but that's kind of how I feel. It's like when we're training, we want to be training to a level that meets the demands of the game, and it should be tough. And then that way on game day, it comes easy to us.
What is, in your estimation, the difference or differences in training a male athlete versus a female athlete?
Well, I'll tell you what, females train hard. I mean, females train really hard. I was in there with the volleyball girls, and I'll give them a shout out. They train hard here, and they've clearly had a lot of success. But I think male to female, it's all the same. We've got to do for females. They tend to have ACL problems more than male athletes. So learning how to land, learning how to jump, trying to push those knees out, protect that knee joint, strengthen their hamstrings more because they have really dominant quads. That's the big thing. And then, the big thing for me is that guys lift more than girls, but girls train hard. And I've seen that when I came here, and it's cool to see.
Well, you married one.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And she trains hard. So, my first team that I worked with when I got here was women's volleyball, and they do a phenomenal job. They really do. And all our athletes train really hard. But, it seems like most of our athletes here are real hungry.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're hungry to get better, it really makes my job easy.
Yeah, and I don't mean this in a negative way, but when you worked with that volleyball team for the first time, were you surprised at how hard they trained?
I was. And I told their coach, I was like, man, your girls train hard. And there's kind of just an established culture. It's clear. When they come in there, they work and they do it. We had a young lady, they had Max Week, and they crushed it, but it's cool to watch. It's cool to watch them work. It's cool to watch them work.
So moving forward now, what's the short-term goal? What's the long-term goal?
So short-term, our guys will come back. We got kind of a working max for our football team this week. When we get back, we're going to go 4 days a week in the weight room. As I got here, I'm trying to establish rules for the facility, establish one culture. And honestly, I think that's happened pretty quick. We've been able to kind of get on the same page, and my assistants, Trey and Trent, have been great and keeping things rolling. They've done a great job. But kind of long-term short-term for football, they'll come back after spring break. We'll go 4 days a week in the weight room. And then we will do speed development 2 or 3 days. We talk about with coach maybe doing a couple mat drills just to get some of the athletes tougher and all that. And then long term, man, I'm just trying to get kids bigger, stronger, faster. That's kind of the mindset. As we get bigger, stronger, faster, toughness and all that will come with it as well. So a lot of our guys, we got some guys that are real tight in the hips and ankles. We'll do a lot more mobility drills to kind of get that better. And kind of one of our weaknesses the past week that I've noticed is our core. That's something we definitely need to train quite a bit.
Well, Clay Hendricks said at the end of last season, as magical season as it was, that in the last probably 2 or 3 games, and this was his word, that we got exposed by teams that were bigger and stronger and faster with us. So the mandate is to take the kids that had that success, but to get them stronger so that they don't run into that again.
Yes, sir. And we're a really young team. I was just talking about that with Coach Staggs, and these coaches have done a great job recruiting. It's my job to develop them. So that's going to be a focus for me, is to develop their bodies and teach them how to eat and teach them how to train. And Ab has kind of established that, and hopefully I could take what he did and add some of what I'm doing and just make them better.
Are you a fan of artificial turf, and do you do anything different when you're training your football players who play most of the time on artificial turf as opposed to playing on natural grass?
No, I think you should be train on what you play on.
Yeah.
When we play on this, we need to be on this field as much as possible.
But is there anything you do differently with the body for an athlete who's going to be on artificial turf more often?
Sir.
Really?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, honestly, no. We're going to train how we train. I think it is good to get on both surfaces because you're going to end up playing games on both surfaces. But, I like them both. Doesn't bug me either way. That's a good question.
Yeah, one thing. Well, I'm supposed to ask a good one every now and again. One other thing, we talked about your relationship with the kids, but you mentioned Trey and Trent. You're coming in here, and you've got to also establish a chemistry amongst the coaching staff.
Right.
Bob, Richie, and I have talked about that. Clay and I have talked about that. How's that going, and how long do you expect it to take where all three of you are on the same page, where you're thinking alike and they don't have to come to you and say, what do you want me to do in this situation? They'll already know.
Honestly, they've been great, man. And they're already doing that. They're asking things. They're kind of figuring out, I'm real picky about little things in the weight room being set up one way and getting it clean one way. Anytime a recruit comes in, we want that place spotless. And they've done a good job. They're going to continue to roll with the teams that they've been working with. And I told them, I said, hey, I'm going to be your assistant for your teams, and I'm going to need you for my team as well. So, I want to be a part of every team. But Trent, man, he's done a great job. He kind of kept these guys rolling when I wasn't here, and, he's been my right-hand man. Trey has done a great job as well, adapting to what we're doing and how we're doing it. And honestly, they've kind of like put things into work, and I've just told them every single day when I leave, I was like, man, thank y'all, because y'all have done a great job in adapting how I do things. And that's huge. I could have came in and it could have been miserable, but they've made it great, and I hope I've made it great for them. Now, there's a certain way I do want things, and they've been a great job of implementing that into the facility.
Well, it sounds like things are off to a great start. It's like anything else. The proof will be in the pudding, so to speak.
Yes, sir.
I know that there are a lot of people who think highly of you, and obviously that's why you're here doing what you're doing. And I appreciate you coming up and spending some time with us.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
This is Andre Bernardi. He is the new strength and conditioning coach here at Furman. Stay tuned. We'll be back. Take a break. We'll come back, look at the Silcon tournament basketball schedule, which starts tonight. Paladins play tomorrow night at 8:30, and we'll talk some baseball. The series opener with Central Connecticut State is this afternoon. This is the Dan Scott Show, back in just a moment.
Hey, Furman fans, it's baseball season. Here at Ingalls, we know that as you root for the home team, sometimes you want more than just peanuts and Cracker Jack. And while we do deliver on your favorite ballpark classics, we're proud to offer a packed lineup of everything you need to make your next meal a home run. Ingalls, a proud sponsor of Furman Baseball and the official grocery store of Furman Athletics. Go Dins!
Life's healthier when you're backed by a Greenville Health System primary care doctor. Because then, the doctor that has your back is backed by the more than 1,000 physicians and specialists at the region's leading health system, all working together to bring you the right care in the right place at the right time. Great health starts with a GHS primary care doctor, and there are more than 200 of them conveniently located throughout the upstate, ready to see you. Find yours today at ghs.org/mydoctor.
The Atlanta Bread Company wants to make your dining experience as convenient as possible, especially if you're ordering takeout. Go online to atlantabreadcompany.com, place your order there, and pay for it too. Then, when you get to the restaurant at Cherrydale Point, you breeze right by the cash registers and go straight to the pickup counter where your food will be waiting. And speaking of food, try the new Shrimp Po' Boy, a delicious and surprisingly healthy addition to the already great menu. That's the Atlanta Bread Company, Cherrydale Point in Greenville.
The madness begins here. Make sure you're at the U.S. Cellular Center in Asheville, North Carolina, March 1st through 5th for the 2018 Silcon Basketball Championships presented by General Shale. Watch your favorite Silcon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament, and take part in exciting events like the Downtown Dribble and the Ingles Jam Fest. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SilconHoops.com or by contacting the U.S. Cellular Center box office. The madness begins in Asheville. Get your tickets today.
All right, welcome back to the show. Man, what an impressive guy Andre Bernardi is. Thank him for coming and spending some time with us. I walked over to the weight room yesterday. As most of you know, I'm on yet another quest to try to get my weight under control, get a bunch of it off, and have taken a completely different tactic this time by joining Weight Watchers, and it's slower but steadier and all that stuff. Anyway, so I was over there weighing yesterday, checking progress, and Andre was there, and I said, hey, we need to get you over on the show. And he said, I'd love to. When? And I said, how about tomorrow? And he looked at his schedule, and he said, I'll be there. So that's how quickly that transpired. And high-energy guy, and we are very happy to have him on board here at Furman, and looking forward to great things out of the strength and conditioning program, continuing great things that David Abernathy started and kept going for 7 years here. Quick word about Security Complete, my new home security provider, and I can humbly but honestly say I believe they should be yours as well. They are a locally owned company. The installation and service guys are guys that you will know. They will not subcontract that out to other people. They have a combined 40 years of industry experience. The system, you buy the system, you own the system, you can do whatever you want to with it, and then they don't lock you into a long-term contract, don't lock you up for 2 years or beyond. You can go month to month, and that's the ultimate freedom. If you're not satisfied, then you can go do something else. But the bottom line is, trust me, you're going to be satisfied. They have the latest technology, which equals low overhead and more savings for you, and their monitoring rates are significantly less per month than the competition, and they cover it all: intrusion, fire, video, carbon monoxide, and it's fully automated. I can arm my system from my iPhone. Don't have to be at home. In fact, I did that yesterday, armed it and disarmed it as I pulled into the driveway coming back. So if you want to find out what they can do for you, your source for complete security for home and business is Security Complete. Find them on Facebook at Security Complete, or give them a call at 864-546-0360, 546-0360. All right, the Southern Conference basketball tournament, the men's part of the bracket starts today. Look, if you're a basketball fan, talked about this briefly over the weekend, but from yesterday when the women's tournament started through Monday night when the men's championship, that's Thursday through Monday of wall-to-wall basketball at the Asheville Civic Center. And the men's schedule starts this evening, and it looks like this. At 5 p.m. in the 8-9 game, Citadel and VMI get together, and then game 2 is the Sanford and Chattanooga game at 7:30. Now, that's after, by the way, the women's semifinals, which are ongoing beginning, I think, around noon today. So you'll have the two women's games, the semifinals. They'll take tomorrow off, and they'll play their championship game at noon on Sunday, while the men will play the two play-in games tonight, and then 4 dynamite games tomorrow in the quarterfinal round, beginning with the number 1 seed UNCG. You see they're moving ahead to Saturday's schedule against the Game 1 winner, either the Citadel or VMI. And I got to believe that as confident as UNCG is and as much of a role as they're on right now, they'd have to be a little leery of an opening round game against the Citadel and the way that the Citadel has played here of late. Wouldn't that be something? Game 4, the second game on Saturday, is the 4-5 game. And Bob Ritchie talked about this. Is there a better 4-5 game in the opening round of a tournament anywhere? How about Mercer and Wofford, who just closed the regular season up at Wofford, with Mercer escaping with a 1-point win in a game that came down to the last shot, with Fletcher McGee missing a wide-open 3 from the top of the key. Game 5, the third game of the day tomorrow, the 6 o'clock game, ETSU and the Game 2 winner, either Sanford or Chattanooga. And then the nightcap, going to be a bunch of purple in the place as Furman, the 3 seed, and the number 6 seed, Western Carolina, meet at 8:30. Our broadcast will begin at 8 p.m., and we're going to be adding Bryant Lambert to the tournament broadcast. Bryant will be working sidelines for us, giving us some insight from different points of view from around the arena. And then on Sunday, you've got the semifinals at 4 and 6 p.m., and then Monday night on ESPN2, the championship game at 9 p.m. So it's going to be a fun weekend, and we're looking forward to it. You think, all right, the Paladins, 2 impressive double-digit wins over Western Carolina, should be highly favored in this game, and they are. But, again, it's tournament basketball, and I just caution you and remind you about what happened a year ago when they had 2 double-digit wins over Sanford coming into the quarterfinal round, and Sanford completely changed its style of play. They had been pressing, they had been man-to-man all over the place in the first 2 games, and the Paladins were able to break that press and in a lot of ways run them off the floor and get double-digit wins both here and down in Birmingham a year ago. You get here to the tournament, and Scott Padgett went completely away from their style. They didn't press. They didn't play man-to-man. They sat back in a zone and basically dared Furman to beat them from the outside, and the Paladins couldn't. It was their worst shooting performance of the year at precisely the wrong time. I say that to say this. Larry Hunter has been through this before, as the old saying goes, this ain't his first rodeo. Don't be surprised, and I don't have any inside information. I'm just telling you, don't be surprised if they come out in this game and do something completely different than what they've done, or at least show some different things from time to time to try and confuse the Paladins. You take nothing for granted in tournament basketball. And heck, after what we saw, I showed you at the beginning, with Virginia scoring 5 points in 0.9 seconds to beat Louisville yesterday, you take nothing for granted anyway. So we're looking forward to it getting started. It sets up a potential semifinal matchup if the Paladins are able to win, a repeat performance between Furman and ETSU if they take care of business in their quarterfinal game. And, man, won't that be a fun semifinal to watch. This tournament really stacks up as a very, very intriguing one, especially if the top 4 teams, or 5, depending on who wins the 4-5 game between Wofford and Mercer, if those are the teams that advance to the semifinals, then look out. We are going to have some high-level, high-drama basketball across the board in this tournament. It is going to be phenomenal. Looking forward to it again. 8 o'clock pregame show tomorrow with an 8:30 tip for Furman and Western Carolina at the Asheville Civic Center. Tickets are still available. Don't let Western Carolina's purple outflank the Furman purple. Bob Ritchie sat in this chair and recording the All Den podcast, episode 15. He has said it on pregame and postgame shows over the last couple of weeks. Don't take Saturday for granted. Don't say, well, we'll go to the semifinals, and if they win, go to the finals. Don't take Saturday for granted. It's not an expensive ticket. It's a short drive, and you'll get to go up and watch a lot of great basketball culminated by the Paladins playing in the primetime position on Saturday night, tomorrow night. Before we go out to break, a word about OpSource Staffing. Connecting lives for the better. OpSource is an independent, faith-based, privately held staffing, recruiting, and workforce management company that began in 2007 with a mission to serve and connect great people to great companies. With OpSource, it's all about relationships, not the transaction. And they believe that by building relationships, they will become an integral part of your overall staffing experience. They have 5 branches currently: Greenville, Spartanburg, Gaffney, Charleston, and also one in Arden, North Carolina. And they provide contractors to companies in needs of anything from welders and pipe fitters, construction workers, all the way down to HVAC install and repair, CNC operators, and industrial labor, and also provide a managed services division that offers on-site managed programs for companies that use large volume of contract staffing. Call today to find out how OpSource Staffing can streamline your contract workforce for the better. This is toll-free, 866-870-8133, or go online. You see there, opsourcestaffing.com, and you'll find out much more information there. When we come back, we'll talk a little baseball in the final segment and put a final wrap on things heading into this weekend. Dan Scott Show will return in just a moment. The Atlanta Bread Company wants to make your dining experience as convenient as possible, especially if you're ordering takeout. Go online to atlantabreadcompany.com, place your order there, and pay for it too. Then, when you get to the restaurant at Cherrydale Point, you breeze right by the cash registers and go straight to the pickup counter where your food will be waiting. And speaking of food, try the new shrimp po' boy. Runners go. The payoff. Surprisingly healthy addition to the already great menu. That's the Atlanta Bread Company, Cherrydale Point in Greenville.
Holding, number 79, defense, first down. I'm also holding a party tonight.
Great call by the official. Looks like we've got another flag on the field.
Holding, a Pepsi. Necessary refreshment.
Hey, Ted, bring some of that Pepsi to my party.
Pepsi and the NFL. Welcome to the Fun Doesn't End Zone.
When the Furman baseball team goes on the road, it travels safely, comfortably, and with the latest technology with Jeans Tours and Charters. Jeans has been a Furman favorite for decades and has serviced Furman baseball for over 20 years. Take it from head coach Brett Harker. Book your next road trip with Jeans. Jeans Tours and Charters, online at jeansbussvc.com or call 864-242-1673. Jeans Tours and Charters, servicing the upstate since 1980.
If you've been sidelined by an injury, the St. Francis Sports Medicine team is here 24/7 to get you back on the field. Our highly trained network of physicians, athletic trainers, and physical therapists treat all types of sports-related injuries, even those that don't occur from playing a sport. Call the St. Francis Hurt Line at 675-HU-RT for priority appointments or at-home advice. Again, that's 675-HU-RT.
The madness begins here. Make sure you're at the U.S. Cellular Center in Asheville, North Carolina, March 1st through 5th for the 2018 Silcon Basketball Championships presented by General Shale. Watch your favorite Silcon teams compete for a championship and a berth in the NCAA tournament, and take part in exciting events like the Downtown Dribble and the Ingles Jam Fest. Book your travel and tickets by logging on to SilconHoops.com or by contacting the U.S. Cellular Center box office. The madness begins in Asheville. Get your tickets today.
Runners go. The payoff is lined off of the foot of the pitcher, Kimbrell, ricocheted to Crawford all the way at third, and he throws out Hopkins. And Tyler Kimbrell's the okay? Yeah, pumps a fist. And let's just go ahead and give it the hockey phrase. Kick save and a beauty. 1-5-3 on the out, and the inning is over. 10:53, and down the stretch we come. Final segment of the show. Final segment of the week. Good to have you with us. Thank you for continuing to support what we do here. And I just encourage you, whether you're watching us daily on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever you're checking us out, Twitter through Periscope, obviously. When the show goes live every day, share the link on your Facebook timeline, on your Twitter feed, so we can continue to grow this audience and make our sponsors very, very happy, which in turn makes me happy. Happy Dan is a fun Dan to be around. At least that's what I've been told. What else do we need to do here? Ridge Media. Got to tell you about Kenny Ridgel and the folks at Ridge Media LLC. They are a one-stop shop based in Greenville that does logo, print, and website design, as well as search engine optimization and marketing. And their clients range from startups to Fortune 500 companies. They're a locally owned marketing firm with offices in Greenville and Charleston. But again, they're based in Greenville. Free consultation. Won't cost you a thing to find out what they can do for you. Call today and get that scheduled. 864-354-6175. 864-354-6175 for Ridge Media. We were supposed to meet yesterday, and a scheduling conflict for both of us pushed it back. I think Kenny's coming over here on Tuesday, and we're going to begin the process of what will become DanScottShow.com and all the things we'll be able to do from there. All right, baseball. Paladins open up a 3-game series against Central Connecticut State this afternoon at 4 p.m. And again, because of the way the basketball schedule broke with the number 3 seed for Bob Ritchie's Paladins, the sporting gods are with us. We will not miss any broadcasts. It's going to be double duty. It's going to be long days, but I absolutely love it. I'm not in the best shape in the world, but I can sit down and run my mouth as long as anybody can. So today, 3:45 pregame, 4 o'clock first pitch on the SoCon Digital Network, on FurmanPaladins.com, and TuneIn Radio, as well as our Campus FM 95.9. And then tomorrow, it is a 1 o'clock baseball start with a 12:45 pregame. Same scenario as far as where you can listen. And then the basketball game tomorrow night. Sunday, don't forget, that game is an 11:30 a.m. start because Central Connecticut State has a plane to catch back home. So an early start for baseball, 11:15 airtime with the pregame. And then hopefully we have a 6 o'clock basketball game as well, probably 6:30 since the first semifinal starts at 4 p.m. So we'll have that for you as well. And hey, look, just because we wrapped up 5 games against all Power 5 conferences, 1 with Clemson, 3 with NC State, and then the big win on Tuesday at South Carolina. Don't take for granted, it's just Central Connecticut State coming in. This is an NCAA regional team a year ago, just like Marist was. So this is going to be a good test. I've only played 3 games because of weather and other things. So they've got, I'm sure, a lot of pent-up frustration and energy that they're going to be bringing to Latham Stadium starting this afternoon. It's going to be a fun weekend. And as I mentioned at the top of the show, 18 baseball games this month for Brad Harker's team. 14 of those 18 are home games, if you count the 2 that are at Fluor Field as home games, which we do. That's Michigan State and Illinois and University of Illinois. So 14 of the 18 games are home games. 1 of the road games is just up the road in Rock Hill against Winthrop. And, of course, the other 3 later on are against Wichita State. And by the time we get to the end of the month, the final 3 home games of the month will be the first 3 games of the Southern Conference schedule against Sanford. So you've got plenty of time to see and plenty of opportunities to see the baseball team this weekend. And let me tell you, if you haven't been to Latham Stadium in a while, you need to come out and see the improvements that have been made to the facilities. You know, the 888 purple stadium chairback seats that were installed last year, the new padding all the way around the walls from the edge of the dugouts all the way around the outfield walls, the purple padding just continues to add to the aesthetic value of what was already a beautiful baseball setting for college baseball. And, oh, by the way, the product is pretty good as well. So come out, check them out beginning at 4 o'clock this afternoon as Furman opens up that series against Central Connecticut State. We'll have the broadcast for you, and looking forward to getting back behind the mic. Before we go, just a quick reminder about the Walk a Mile Project, which is a 501c3 nonprofit humanitarian aid organization whose goal is to organize, build, encourage, and invest in ways to meet the physical needs of impoverished communities around the world. What do? You ask? Well, they encourage and equip groups on how to go, how to prepare for a trip, how to form a trip, how to raise funds, and then how to do when they get there, how to build houses, feed a village, conduct medical clinics, and on and on and on. You can see the website at the bottom of your screen, thewhamproject.org, and we invite you to go to that website, check them out, find out more about what they do and ways you can support their very fine work. Heath Burdett and his dad and all the folks who are involved there do fantastic work. That's the Walk a Mile Project. And, again, please tell them that you heard about them here on the show. We look forward to talking to you a bunch this weekend and hope that you'll be tuned in all weekend long. I will encourage you, if you're not going to Asheville, the games are available on ESPN3. Turn down the sound and sync up the radio sound and listen to Tom and Brian and I as we bring you the call of the exciting basketball that'll be going on up in Asheville, and baseball starting this afternoon as well. We're looking forward to being behind the mic and bombarding your ears with Furman propaganda over the course of the next 3 days. Until this afternoon at Latham Stadium at 3:45, thank you again for tuning us in. I'm Dan Scott saying God bless you and so long, everybody.